Fountain Tire. The savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
If we win the $46,000 early bird, I'll be nicer.
Really?
Well, mostly.
All right, I'll take it.
You know what's nice? Tickets are only $30, and every ticket helps support kids through free mentorship and after-school programs. Don't miss out. The early bird deadline is March 19th at bigbrothersdreamhome.org.
Lottery license 745563 and 745562. Please play responsibly.
Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving through this.
For many families, the stress of divorce can throw your life out of balance. The loss of a relationship, ongoing conflict, mounting legal bills, and uncertainty about the future can feel overwhelming. Hi, I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. At Fairway, our team helps you restore balance through mediation, negotiation, and a unique step-by-step process. With 2 offices in Edmonton dedicated to serving your needs, our goal is simple: to help you navigate a path back to peace and clarity. Visit us today at Fairway Divorce.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown. Today's show, a big game for the Oilers tonight. New lines, too. Will the Florida Panthers impact Edmonton's Stanley Cup chances for the 3rd year in a row? We'll find out. Plus, March Madness, Condors' total recall of Roby Yarvente, who could play tonight, and NFL free agency. The Lowdown brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's Truck Month, featuring their best deals of the year. Ask about 0% financing plus extra discounts for Costco members. WolfGMCBuick.com. We're live on YouTube and Sports 1440 AM radio. Online, we're at iHeartRadio, Sports1440.ca, and Radio Player Canada. After the show, Apple and Spotify podcasts are delighted to host this program. Twitter, we're at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, J Fenwick 04, and Mac McClellan. You can text us at 833-401-1440. That's 833-401-1440. Our guest today, Bill Lindsay, who has been a Florida Panther player, broadcaster, observer. He's been it all over the years, and we're going to talk to him about this year being so much different than the last couple of years, but they've got the Stanley Cup rings. And Bag Milk will join us at 1 o'clock today to tell us about life without Leon, which is, a tragedy in and of itself. But he's been at the front lines with Oilers fans, and he'll give us an idea about how difficult it is out there. All right, it's time for the introductions. She thinks before she speaks. meaning she's an extreme outlier on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mackenzie McLennan. Mackenzie McLennan.
Thank you. I don't know if I always do. I think there was a couple times last night when we were doing the draft where.
You know what I need, Mackenzie?
What?
I need a Mackenzie spy. I need some information that I can. All of these are so flowery and nice about you. Surely to goodness, there's an underside. You know, do you listen to badass music, or do you chew like 17 bubble gums at a time? What do you do that's outrageous that I can make fun of and mock?
I don't know. I listen to a lot of One Direction, a lot of true crime.
Oh, true crime.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of true crime fans there, Josh. You know, I mean, this show is one of them, but there's others out there. Okay, well, work on it, and I'll come back to you for any ideas that I can use against you as time goes on. The Eagles acquired former Bengals QB Andy Dalton this week, and he knows but won't say it. The future means Joe Burrow to Philly coming soon. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick.
Well, if the future's any indication, that means the Red Rifle's got to go through, Joe Burr is going to have to go through a couple of places the Red Rifle went through. Chicago, Carolina, a lot of other places before he ends up in Philly.
I'm going to introduce Declan in a second, but I just want to ask you really quickly, did that move make sense for the Eagles?
Yeah, why not? Get a backup quarterback. One of the best.
Well, he's certainly got the hair. I will say that. This is a big day for him. March Madness, baby. He's picking Duke for the Final Four, even though he hates it, and that makes him a great arbiter and a great predictor. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger.
Yeah, big day for me.
It's every year it's the same. It's like, you know, you deliver such fantastic verbal every day of the year, except this week when you're like, hey, that's great. Look at that. Oh, cows. It's because the NCAA March Madness tournament is like Christmas wrapped into, like, I don't know, Flag Day for you. It's amazing for you.
Yeah, it's a big one. It definitely won't be my strongest day on air today.
It's okay. We forgive you. And I once again must suggest that what we should do is we should pay you, but you should be at your home on your couch, and we could drop in every once in a while. You could be wearing your robe and then go get to milk or whatever, and we could just watch you because you're so animated when you watch NCAA basketball. That would be a show in and of itself.
Yeah, like a live stream would be great for the content. We got the TV feeds going here in studio. I have a couple more pulled up on the computer. So I am I'm ready to tune out.
What's going on with our man from TCU there? I didn't see the play. He got
just a foul under going up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a
tale old as time.
All right. So a few things to talk about. We're going to begin with the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers-Panthers tonight. There are some illnesses involving Kasperi Kapanen, so the lines have changed. Here they go via everybody who's down there. Kapanen not on the ice, ill. So it's McDavid with Podkolzin and Savoy as the wingers. That might be a little bit of an enforcer type help for McDavid because the Florida Panthers, they have some ass hattery in them. And I'm sure even though they're a group that's not going to go anywhere, not going to make the playoffs, and they're banged up, there's a lot of their folks who are back in Sunrise, Florida, they're still going to bring the ridiculous. So that may be a reason for it. Nuge is with Hyman and Roslovic. Dickinson with Szymanski and Lazar, who, by the way, is on LTIR. But because of the Kapanen injury, they wanted to have 12 skaters. Henrique with Jones and Frederick. Now, that's what's happening now. It doesn't mean, like, if Kapanen comes back in, it may be completely different, or they might just run Kapanen with Dickinson and Szymanski. But there you go. Those are the lines. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Murphy, Wallman, Stastny, Emberson skating. He's getting better. Won't play tonight, but maybe the weekend, right? And it looks like it's going to be Connor Ingram in goal for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. I did mention that the Oilers have recalled Roby Järventie, and it's possible he will play tonight as well. And that would, I think, be in the Lazar spot, but we'll see. It's an interesting time for the Edmonton Oilers, but what is really important is the 2 points. Now, Florida is just not the team that they were in the 2 Stanley Cup finals for lots of different reasons. But they're going to be very physical, and it's important that the Oilers not not buy into that. The 2 points are very important, and you can always get even some other time. And I mean, we can go around the room and talk about what kind of problem Kachuk is and other players on the Florida Panthers. We know what they are, but I think the Oilers. I'll start with you, Josh, since you're watching the basketball too.
It's a commercial break.
Okay, I'll ask you a little bit about what you think the Oilers should do if Florida comes in here and jazzes it up with the jazz hands.
Well, that's a great question. I think whatever they give you, you got to take. As a wise man once said, if you don't want to get hit, stay off the tracks. But if the Panthers just put them on the tracks, they got to be willing to stand their ground and defend themselves. So I think the Oilers are going to try their best to not get into extracurriculars, but I think just like the way the Panthers are and how the last 2 seasons have gone, I think like it's almost an inevitability.
Yeah, that's fair. What about you, Declan? What do you think about Kachuk and the Panthers tonight and what they may or may not do and how the Oilers should react?
Yeah, I mean, season's over, right? They don't have too much to play for down there in Florida outside of the old we're still your big brother kind of thing. So I think that's going to lead itself to a little bit of those. I wanted to think of a synonym for extracurricular because we just said it a good few times. But yeah, like those
shenanigans.
Yeah, those shenanigans, those extracurriculars. Like I expect Edmonton to win the game. I'll start there. And I think it's kind of one of those ones like you win in the moment and you're like, yeah, we got one back on the Panthers. Then they turn around and say, hey, 2 rings. And you're like, yeah, you know what I mean? So
the trash talk will be big. Now, Mackenzie, you're a big fan of Kachuk. So this will be a game that you're watching just to cheer for Matt Kachuk, I guess.
Yeah, I love him. He's my favorite player. I listen to his podcast weekly. And I agree with every statement he has had ever.
Well, I know that's not true.
Yeah.
But you agree that the Oilers have to stay the course. They definitely can't buy in to what's going to be some ridiculous after the whistle kind of scrums.
Yeah, I just also think it's going to be inevitable, especially everything that happened at the Olympics as well. That is lingering in the back of McDavid's mind for sure, I think. And I agree with Declan. It's one of those things where the Oilers will be like, well, we beat you twice in the regular season, and then it'll be a come back to earth. We lost in both cup finals,
and that's all great. But what matters is the 2 points tonight. Like you're gonna get trash talked by them anyway. You might as well win the 2 points and don't get hurt. And for crying out loud, Connor McDavid, do not drop the gloves.
I think that is I was about to say, I think it's possible that happens tonight.
You have to be the mature team.
I know. Hey, I'm not saying anything about maturity or whatever. I'm not saying he's just immediately going to drop gloves as soon as him and Matthew Tkachuk are on the ice at the same time, like the Flames and Oilers did. What would that be, 4 years ago now? But let's be real here. Matthew Tkachuk is a very irritating person. And now Connor McDavid has lost 3 major championships to him in a row. And I don't think Matthew Tkachuk's going to let him hear the end of that.
Oh, sure. But that's going to happen. And by the way, the 80s Oilers, they were the best chirpers. Glenn Anderson, come on. So this is the idea that this has never been done by the Oilers is just not true. Kyle says one of those donkeys is going to go after 97 tonight. I know it. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that. But by the same token, the worry I would have is if the Oilers get up big like 9-1, then I think you almost can't play the skill guys because it's going to be like headhunting. And, you can say, come on, Lowetide, this isn't 1975. Well, the Florida Panthers kind of are 1975 hockey. They're bullies and they take every opportunity, whether it's physically or, as we talked about chirping earlier, they're going to do that, but they're also good. Now, this year, they've got a lot of injuries. They're not going to make the playoffs, but there are a lot of good players there. And so you have to play the game because it's not going to be an easy win. It's going to be cakewalk unless they parade to the penalty box, and I doubt that would happen. Top Guy says McDavid would be a fool to drop the gloves and fight. Could chuck it, he would get his clock cleaned, and no way he would do that. I don't, McDavid is not like the other night he was ripping helmets off and that sort of thing. He fought when he was in junior. I don't like McDavid. He cross checks like a demon. He is filthy. I don't think this is a guy that is like, oh geez, I don't want to be violent. That's not what McDavid is. But he's too valuable to risk anything like that. It's just it is a new level of don't do that, as far as I'm concerned. And he has been frustrated lately, and that may contribute to what happens tonight. Roby Jorvente, I will tell you, in Bakersfield, has been extremely impressive over the last while. Now, the players that we saw here earlier, Ike Howard and Quinn Hudson, they're college guys, and they hit a wall. It happens. They hit a wall a little past mid-season, and they haven't been the same kinds of players. One of the folks who has stepped up is Roby Jorvente. And he has played extremely well. This is, I think, a reward for it. I hope he gets into a game. He was acquired for Xavier Bourgault from the Ottawa Senators organization a couple of years ago now. And the Oilers actually were going to let him go. They weren't going to sign him. And then they really felt that he was finally rounding into form after a lot of injuries. And he's played well. A really rambunctious player, not filthy or anything, but he has enough skill. He can pass and shoot the puck. And that this is the point of the season where you're like, oh, they're just calling up a guy. No, I think this guy can play NHL hockey, and we'll see whether that's true or not. But I would say, I think he can play, and I hope he gets into a game. The one thing I will say is, and I've said this all along, Colin Chalk takes a lot of heat. But if you look at the guys who've come up here, including Josh Szymanski this year and others, they come to play, and they play well. They're not overwhelmed by the moment. And that's a credit to the player always, first and foremost, credit to the player. But let's give some credit to the coaching staff down there in Bakersfield and the procurement department. They've done a hell of a job. And that would be Stan Bowman and his staff going out and getting guys like Szymanski from Germany, Damian Carfagna, and Quinn Hudson from college, and, of course, the trade that was made for Ike Howard. Sorry, Lowetide, that may have come across the wrong way. This is from Tub Guy. I agree he's not a wallflower when it comes to physicality. There's just no reason for him to fight anybody. Totally agree. I want to commend you on your use of the word wallflower, and it doesn't get used enough in today's society. I'm kidding. I use that phrase too, though, and I think we're the only two, you and me, Tub Guy, who do that. All right, we've got a busy show today. As we mentioned at 12:40 today, it will be Bill Lindsay, former member of the Florida Panthers hockey team as a player and a broadcaster now, and he could write the history of the team without missing a beat. So Bill Lindsay will join us at 12:40, bagged milk at 1 o'clock today. And Declan, you are going to be doing declinations at 1:40 today. Pray tell, what will you be talking about?
Yeah, Duncan with Declan, jamming with Josh. We'll be talking a little NBA basketball.
Okay.
And, we'll tournament updates throughout the day, of course.
Well,
High Point's keeping it close against Wisconsin right now.
Do you want to give an update right now to folks who are maybe driving and not?
Yeah, TCU and Ohio State is coming down to the wire. We're in about final 2 minutes. TCU leading that one by 1. Ohio State's about to shoot some free throws, I believe. Wisconsin, who's a 5 seed, beat Michigan this year. They're up by 8 on High Point with 6.5 to go in the first. High Point was a 30-win team this year. And then South Florida, who I picked over Louisville, they're down 10 with about 3 to go in the first half. And I think Nebraska's still killing Troy.
One of the things that I do is I watch.
Oh, my days.
I like to watch for the haircuts. The referees always look the same, no matter the era. But there's some funky looking hairdos. I don't know who the guy is on, I think it's TCU, who looks like he got it cut maybe by himself. And he's a good player, though. Josh has the most blank look on. What are you thinking right now, Josh, as you chew your gum and watch basketball?
I'm thinking that TCU better put the ball at the bottom of the basket. I have them picked in every single one of the brackets I'm in.
Oh no. Is the bracket going to break? Oh, dear.
Probably.
Never
But
happens.
I hate Ohio State.
First
so I was
time
not picking
ever.
them.
Why do people fill out brackets?
Listen, your bracket getting busted is one thing. Having it bust the first game, that sucks.
It is.
Yeah, it does.
And it's,
Which
the
is why
first
I
game
want
is always
TCU
like
to
an
win.
8-9.
It
so
is
it's
the biggest
pretty
waste
easy.
of time in sports.
What? It's fun just to have fun doing it.
Biggest waste of. Why don't you take some all the bottles back and then buy something for the food bank instead of figuring out your bracket? Which number one,
What a ridiculous thing to say. Like, do what you enjoy.
You don't have the information, and you're going to be wrong.
Yeah, it's
Well,
okay to be
obviously,
wrong.
It's one in 9 points. It's part of the fun.
Yeah,
It's okay to be wrong. Like, that's an okay part of life.
But you didn't do the research.
Sure, I did.
Okay.
Not as much as Declan, but
Which is why it hurts extra for me. I can't lie.
Ladies and gentlemen, my goal in life is to explain to these young
Good
people
finish.
what research really is, and I'm failing. Okay, on the way, rumors. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Oil Kings Hockey takes to the ice at Rogers Place for the final regular season game this Sunday.
It's the Team Awards game. See who scores the hardware pregame for Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, MVP, and more.
With all the family fun Sunday face painting, bouncy castles, and Calmont Kids food combos for 10.
And JD Power. But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Thanks for tuning in. A little rain today. Reminds me of the lower mainland right now. You know, when it's not sunny in Alberta, you know something's wrong. But we need the moisture, so nobody's complaining. If you hear yelps and whoops in the background, we're coming down to it, TCU and Ohio State right now. So wild in the streets. If you may hear some yelling, I'm just saying. Time for Rumors, presented by Great Canadian Solar. We believe you should create your own electricity. Let's build a brighter, sustainable future with GreatCanadianSolar.com. So a few things. We talked about it in the first segment, but we'll pass it along again. The Oilers have placed Leon Draisaitl on LTIR and recalled Roby Jorventi. He's a rambunctious winger who can also play center or either wing. And he's not like an overly physical guy, but he can play that way. And he's a fine passer and a good shooter. He has a range of skills. And in the last, I would say, month or two, he's been either close to or the best forward on the Bakersfield Condors. So it was a little bit overdue, but he's recalled and he may play tonight because Kasperi Kapanen is not feeling well, or at least he's unavailable. The lines are mixed up, maybe because of Kapanen, maybe because it's the Florida Panthers, and they want a little beef on the McDavid line. So Podkolzin's playing the left side with Connor McDavid and Savoy on right wing. And then we have Nuge with Hyman and Roslovic for the second line. Dickinson with Szymanski and Lazar, and Henrique with Jones and Frederick. I don't know for sure, but I think TCU just scored. And then we'll find out whether it's going to be Lazar is there, but on LTIR. Kapanen may draw in. If not, it's probably going to be Jorventi. And of course, stay tuned to your same BAT channel to find that out. Gregor will no doubt have that pregame, by the way, tonight at 6:00 and postgame as well. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse Murphy, Wallman, Stastny are the pairings. Emberson practicing, not playing tonight. Very close, could play Saturday. And they're going to go with Connor Ingram in goal tonight. By the way, coming up in hour number 2, we have 4 tickets to give away to the Edmonton Oil Kings game Sunday against Calgary, against the Hitmen. And we will do that. I would say we were interviewing Bill Lindsay at 1, so it'll be like in the 1:20 segment at some point in time. We're going to have a trivia question, give you an opportunity to win those tickets, and we'll give you more deets as the day goes along. Okay, here we are with rumors. The Nashville Predators have interviewed Marc Bergeron, Brett Peterson for the GM position. I'm of a mind that NHL teams would be wise to interview folks who have some experience with analytics. Doesn't have to be an Eric Tulsky, who is an analytics guru, the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. But Kyle Dubas has a background in analytics. You can hire people to do the analytics, but there's 2 things that are necessary. Number 1, they have to be able to read what's happening on the ice correctly. Everybody collects the data, but whoever can read it properly, that's the guy you want to hire. And then the second thing is you have to have your GM and your coaching staff listen to them. And with respect, I think there have been times when the Oilers had a great analytics department, whether it be Tyler Dello or Michael Parcati or any of the folks who are working there. Maybe they didn't get listened to. That's my opinion from the outside. Nobody's told me that, but I think Parcati and Stan Bowman seem to be in sync based on the things we're seeing in terms of not just on-ice results, but also procurement of players. That's my belief. Don't know for sure. I think it's important, and I think Nashville would be better off if they went ahead and did that. We'll see. We mentioned about Leon Draisaitl on LTIR. I'm not going to call them conflicting reports. I'm going to say that Chris Knobloch and Stan Bowman just had a different way of delivering news to people. And both are probably factually correct. It's just that they sounded different. It's like when you were a kid and dad told you something, the tone suggested it was very serious. And when mom talked about it, it was maybe a little softer, sell, right? And I think that Bowman kind of was the good cop and Knobloch was maybe the bad cop, and it's probably somewhere in the middle. It'll probably be Leon can play, but they got to get out of the first round. That's my guess. We'll find out as time goes on. Nobody knows because no NHL team really reports what's actually happening anymore. And, you can say I'm wrong, but I'm really not about that. In the major leagues of baseball, there is so much going on, and you know, I know I sound like a broken record, but it seems to me as though when I want to talk about Major League Baseball, I turn to the pages that include it, and all I see is, oh yeah, that's a Tommy John. That's a pitcher who's not going to be around for a year and a half. So have a nice day. But if you were a fan of the Toronto Blue Jays, then Trey Savage has a shoulder problem and he's going to see the doctor. Yeah, that's from Mitch Bannon of The Athletic. John Schneider said Thursday, Savage came to spring training with the injury, explains his slow build-up through camp. So there's a word you can use if you like, but it's Gosman, Cease, and it would have been Bieber is Savage, but they're both, you know, not playing. So I guess Cody Ponce, Scherzer, maybe Eric Lauer. Every MLB team has this, every one of them. And it is a big deal. And you almost need, you know, 12 pitchers, 12 starters, and 15 relievers to start the year so that you can get through a year. And the Los Angeles Dodgers are the gold standard. They have guys that they don't even. Blake Snell's not ratcheting up like there's any urgency at all, because there isn't. They just need him ready for the playoffs and the World Series, and that's how they treat it. It's a different world. It truly is in the world of baseball with all the injuries. I was going to ask you. I don't know who wants to talk about it. I talked a little bit with Josh in the first segment about Dalton going to the Eagles for a 7th round pick. 7th round picks have value, though, right? So what's the plan here? Is this something they needed, or is this did they just, you know, want to make sure that if they've got a good team and their quarterback goes down, they've got somebody who they can step in and play?
Yeah, really more of an insurance marker, knowing that you can have a vet-laden guy come in and kind of like the Eagles are a group where they're pretty established, right? So if you can have a vet presence come in and just have a good hold of like you could have brought in a younger guy with higher ceiling in case Jalen Hurts goes down for the season, but this team is so well put together that you just need a guy who can go through the playbook, understand offense, read defenses, things like that. 7th round picks, like they can have value. They don't have that much. Like it's the last round of the draft. Like it's nothing crazy. A 7th round pick can turn into something, don't get me wrong, but it's not like, I wouldn't be up in arms being like, oh, we gave away our 7th round pick. It's not that special.
Let me ask you about the undrafted free agents. There's like 300 guys who sign right after the draft's being over. Would you rather, if you were a football player, get drafted in the 7th round, or is there more bonus money if you're undrafted and sign as a free agent?
No, you want to be drafted.
Okay. All right. Because you get that little extra push.
It's a little bit more, secure. And like, it's a little bit more secure, but just quite bluntly, like, I think there is kind of, even if it's subconscious, there is kind of a mindset of like, if this undrafted guy and the 7th round pick are comparable, we're going to keep the 7th round pick because we spent draft capital on them. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're a little bit more on the edge of their seat as a signed UFA.
This is an unfair question, but do you have a ballpark about how many Canadians will get drafted in the NFL draft this year?
It's a good question. Like, Akeem Messidor should be the highest one off the board. There are a couple of linemen as well. I don't know if I'd be able to pinpoint a number. I might say 5 to 6 or 4 to 5.
Okay. All right.
That seems safe.
Jake Elliott and the Eagles have agreed to a revised contract. These are all to make the money work as everybody signs those free agents that they're getting close on. And it happens every year. It's no big deal. Do you want to? I did not see what happened in the TCU game. Can you tell me?
Well, it was awesome for one. TCU, they call a timeout with about 20 seconds left. They run a play. It was actually a really, really poorly ran play. They got way lower than they should have. Ohio State didn't collapse the way they needed to. TCU gets the bucket to go ahead 2 points with about 4 seconds left. Ohio State calls a timeout, gets the inbound, terrible play. Like, it wasn't even a play. It just resulted in a half-court heave for Ohio State at halftime that missed.
Okay.
And TCU wins, and my bracket's still perfect.
And as is Josh's.
As is Josh's. And now High Point and Wisconsin are in a battle, the 12-5 matchup.
Which one did you take?
I took Wisconsin. I didn't love it. Listen, High Point won 30 games this year. They're a lot of fun. They were higher than that Miami of Ohio team I love so much in Ken Palm. But Wisconsin, they beat Michigan this year. And when they're on, they're on. Their problem is just when they don't shoot it well, they lose the game. In this game, it's going to be like a 90-89 game. It's going to be a lot of fun. 1-point game for Wisconsin at half, I believe.
I'm disappointed in the name High Point. That just seems to be silly. Why can't they, have like Bowling Green or, Texas Christian or, like it just it feels to me, that it's like Georgetown or whatever. High Point seems, I don't know, unsatisfactory. They should change their name. Could you get on that?
Yeah, you want me to talk to them?
Sure, if you could. In the last break, just before we went to break, I was talking about these guys spending, hours on their brackets and mocking them. And Nikki Northside says, "Sorry, we like to have fun, Grandpa," which is very fair. That is a very fair comment. Who am I to tell people what to do with their free time? And these folks are not, dealing in illegal activities. So go your best.
You know what it is? You're letting the fear of striking out keeping you from playing the game.
There you go. That makes sense. Or my head hurts after I do the first, Have we gone a week without you sneezing? Jay and Victoria, this is Ekholm injury again after the regular season, then round one, and then he's talking about, what is he saying here? Hold on. What's wrong with Kapanen now? Lines look interesting, depending on how Lazar comes out. Was just getting going for the injury. I love Podkolzin, but that number one line seemed fine last game. He's ill. There's apparently an illness, that's what the word that we got on Kapanen. He's had a tough year. Totally. I get that. But this doesn't appear to be related. And again, it is the fog of injury in the NHL. The infidels are, and that's the way you go. Like nobody really tells you what it is. He's an upper, lower, midway, sideways, under, down injury. And it will be 2 weeks to 10 years. Thank you. They could do a really funny bit on This Hour Has 22 Minutes about that. Why they're not trying a different goalie is beyond me. We know how the Panthers like to injure goalies and players. Well, you're trying to win. Like you're trying to win the game. They need to win the game. But I do agree that the Panthers are, here's the problem I have with the Panthers. Not only are they filthy, but I think they really get away with a lot. But I'm just going to tell you this. When my Bruins were getting away with a lot when I was young, I loved it. And when the Oilers did. The Oilers got calls, and they had all kinds of shenanigans too. They totally did. I loved it, but they did. You think, Semenko and McSorley and Buka Boom were out there to just, shake hands and tell everybody they were doing a great job on the opposition? No. So it's frustrating to watch, but there is a little bit of stampede wrestling in the National Hockey League. And that's kind of what the Florida Panthers are. I think Nebraska is going to win this game. I don't want to go out on a limb or anything, but...
I mean, imagine the live line on Troy, though, if it hits.
Did Troy guard anybody in this game? It feels like...
You know what? Let me tell you, it's a little embarrassing for Troy, but Nebraska was the third last team undefeated in the country this year. They had some really, really good wins, fell off at the end of the season. This is going to be their first tournament win ever. Like, they're a good team for a 4 seed. They have a really high ceiling.
Jay says you should change your name to High Tide after we win Stanley. Well, I don't think I will, but I sincerely hope that for Oiler fans who never got to enjoy a Stanley Cup victory by the Edmonton Oilers, I had a blast. I did the silliest stuff. I didn't harm anybody. and I didn't run up and down the hoods and tops of cars as was happening on Jasper Avenue. I did not do that, but I had a great time. I enjoyed every second, and I hope that all of you young people out there, I hope you get the same experience and do it safely, and everybody has a memory they can hold on to dearly forever. Okay, so here's the deal. The Florida Panthers are in town. They are a very famous team, and Bill Lindsay knows everything about them, and we will talk to Bill Lindsay next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our number one selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French. Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier, a plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère, je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Ah, oui, right this way.
For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you? Who, me? No way. I swear. Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
For 50 years, the Selby Group has been building trusted homes and strong communities. This year, we're celebrating that milestone with special events and anniversary promotions you won't want to miss. Discover Hillshire by Selby Group, beautifully designed homes in a community built for the way you live today. And coming this spring, move-in ready spec homes will be available. Your new home is waiting. Celebrate 50 years of Selby Group at Hillshire. Visit selvygroup.com or stop by Hillshire today.
Budget 2026 is focused on what matters to Central Alberta, like 10 new school projects for a total of 27 underway, redeveloping Red Deer Regional Hospital and investing in more rural family physicians, expanding trades education at Olds College and upgrading facilities at Lakeland College, twinning Highway 11 and expanding Red Deer Regional Airport, all while keeping taxes low and growing the economy. For more details, visit alberta.ca/budget. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Being a living organ donor is a noble, life-changing act. But there's more than one way to be a hero. Join the Living Donor Circle of Excellence. As an employer, you can give the gift of time and remove financial barriers to make employee donations easier. You'll earn recognition, a raised corporate profile, employee satisfaction, and of course, be a huge part in saving lives in desperate need. Support the sacrifice of living donors. Discover how to join the Living Donor Circle of Excellence program today at kidney.ca.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. They have Truck Month on right now, featuring their best deals of the year. If you're going to talk about the Florida Panthers, it's always best to find someone who played on that memorable 95-96 team and then spent a lot of time working in the booth and observing the team as a commentator, and has seen pretty much every minute played of this team. We're joined by Bill Lindsay. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. We're going to get Bill Lindsay on. He probably liked the song a lot and was angry that I cut it off. That would be my guess. All right. I was very happy with that intro, too, by the way. Hello?
Hello, we got each other?
Hey, there we go. How are you, sir?
All right. Everything's good. How's everything in Edmonton?
Very, very good. I was talking about the fact that you were on the very famous 95-96 team, and then, continued your career, and then you got a job broadcasting Florida Panthers games, and you've seen pretty much every minute of this organization. And from 95-96 to the last 2 years, when the Stanley Cup arrived twice in Florida for the Panthers, that's got to be a great ride, and what a wonderful opportunity to see this team rise to the very top.
Incredible. There was a lot of down years especially after 96. We were good for a couple more years after that. So really strong out of the gate for the Panthers, and then about 20 years of just stuff that wasn't really good. We were changing GMs and coaches every year. It seemed like all the office staff was in, out. But finally, ownership, Mr. Viola, was able to stabilize that and got continuity, believed in family, bringing everyone together, getting everyone a role, purpose, brought in Bill Zito, Paul Maurice. They had a game plan, which they wanted to execute with certain type of players, and we have seen the greatest stretch of Panthers hockey that we may ever see. It's facing off against the Oilers a couple of times in the finals. It's going all the way to the finals. It's a miraculous ride. I thought after we lost that first one against Vegas, I was like, man, it's so tough to get here. Are we ever going to get back? Are we ever going to get a chance? So absolutely. And the second run, I was really cognizant to take everything in. I just wanted to soak it all in, just not knowing if this may ever happen again. It was just because it's partial year-round greatness at that time. We did some stuff that few teams rarely do. So it was a combination of everybody just pulling on the rope in the same direction, and the results, they are elating.
Yeah, and it's a lot of hockey too, and I think that one of the things that has happened this year is that the key players on this team have played a lot of hockey over the last 2 years, and that has its own impact in terms of injury, and we've seen that this year. How much of the injury issue would you credit for where the Panthers are right now? I know that you look at the roster and you see a lot of guys in there are playing 40 games or 50 games this year. Been a lot of man games listed by some key players on the Panthers.
Yeah, it's been tough. It was right out of the gate with Barkov injuring the first day that he stepped on the ice. We knew we were going to be without him for the full season. Matthew Tkachuk wasn't going to be back until around the new year. So we put we had a lot of mileage on the tires to begin with, but we had to extend. We got off to a decent start, but you're starting to see Reinhardt 25 minutes. You're starting to push up those guys, even Lindell getting around. He fits into that Barkov role. He's playing 20-plus minutes a night. And you're behind games, you're trailing, you're trying to figure it all out, and you're scraping by. And they did a good job. They fought through it and did the best they could. Injuries were a huge part of it. Goaltending's another factor. And Sergei Bobrovsky, I'll never hold anything against him. He brought such wonderful memories in time. But it's been a down year for him. It's been a tough year. It's just not up to his standards. Is it still in the tank? Do I still believe that he has it, even at the age of 37? That answer would be yes. So you don't get quite the goaltending that you're used to. You have injuries throughout your lineup, and you're just trying to play catch-up throughout the course of the year. And eventually, the adversity, it just overwhelms you. There were so many nights and watching this team play that you could just look and say, that team's gassed. Like they have nothing in the tank tonight. And if our goaltender doesn't steal the show, we're not going to win. So it it's a culmination of things. There's no excuses in this league, though.
No,
no excuses. You are where you are, and you're just going to have to battle back. We're not going to make the playoffs this year, and we're going to have to try and reset and get ready for next year.
The Bob contract, a little teasing here and there about it. This is I think it's the final year of the deal, and it was a very famous deal. And then there was time when people said, has he delivered? And then nobody questions him now. Do you see something getting done with Bobrovsky here?
They would like to. I would imagine it's gonna. The deadline. I'm sure Bill Zito's phone rang about Bobrovsky at the deadline. He had to listen. But if nothing came through that he felt warranted trading Bobrovsky, that there's a chance here we can re-sign him, get him back into the summer. It's going to be a complicated issue between Bobrovsky. He's coming off making $10 million a year for 7 years. That's a high contract. Where's the number at? Where does it land? What's the negotiations like? There's a lot that gets into it. There's a good chance he comes back. I would just say that there is a legitimate chance to get him back, but I would not say it's 100% guaranteed.
Yeah, and that's fair. But one of the things that for me is in just watching any franchise is being able to make those tough decisions on veterans, because there's a down, you reach a peak level, and obviously the Panthers have, and then you've got to replenish. And I think Bill Zito's done a really good job. There's some fine young players on this roster, but it is difficult where you have to make decisions on guys who've taken you to the finals and won it. So there's a great loyalty there, but you also have to rebuild. And this league gets younger every year and faster every year, it seems. So it's a veteran group. So no matter what anybody wants to have happen, there will be changes. Fair?
Yeah, there's going to be some changes. I think I've seen almost all of Charlotte, our minor league system at some point this year. So I know what's in the cupboard down there. There's some decent players coming on the horizon. What you have to be careful of, from my personal standpoint, is making sure that dressing room is a family. That's close-knit. They love each other, and there's a bond. And we had that 96. You talked about that 96 run. We traded Stu Barnes right after. We were first overall in the whole league in 97, about 30 games in. Traded Stu Barnes, and he was just a heart and soul, and just ripped our franchise apart. It's crazy, but it did. Mm-hmm. And we downhill from there, lost in the first round against the New York Rangers. And that's kind of where you could see the Panthers kind of, at that time, take a downward spiral. So you have to be careful what you take out of the dressing room. At some point, you do have to make the tough decisions. But there is a family and there is a bond in there, and a trust factor among those guys. So you're not evaluating what's happening on the ice, but you're also making sure what's the continuity in that locker room. What does he mean to our team onto the ice, and can we afford to get rid of him? So Bill Zito, all I can judge on is the past, and there hasn't been too many mistakes as far as the Panthers organization and where he's found players, Forsling, trading for Bennett, getting Marchand, the deals that he's made, the contracts that he's been able to sign. So until I see different, I'll have full trust in what Bill Zito continues to try and do for the Panthers.
I'm a Bruins fan going way back to Bobby Orr, and when they traded for Marchand, I was sitting in this room that I'm in now, and I said a bad word, but to myself, because I know what Marchand is, and I knew that the road got way tougher that day when they picked up Marchand.
Yeah, I did. It's what a player, and just he's an incredible human being. You watch all the antics on the ice, and it's almost like a wrestler. It's got a double personality. Once you put on the skates, he's a different person. But as far as when you talk to him off the ice, if you gotten the chance to, it's down to earth. He'll give you all the time in the world. He'll give you thoughtful answers. He's caring about the community. But you put those skates on, and it's a whole different world. He wants the puck on his stick. He wants to win. He wants to thrive. And it was as far as big time trade deadline deals to get a team over to the hump. He's in a rare class of, you could go back and maybe look at 3 or 4 really traded for big time players that actually pushed the team over and won a Stanley Cup, but he falls into that category. And it was all part of the structure that Bill knew his dynamic and personality fit exactly with what we wanted to do on and off the ice.
Sort of like Butch Goring of the Islanders in 1980, right?
Yeah, yes, it's who do we go? I mean, who do you go back and look at the real significant? Who LA traded for?
Oh yeah,
someone big in one of their was it Marion Gaborik?
Yeah, maybe that was it. Yeah, it might have been. Yeah,
Marion Gaborik, I believe that's one of the bigger ones. But you can look back and there were certain big names that crossed paths that was able to change the trajectory of the team. And Brad Marchand did that for us. Those playoffs last year, I could not believe that he was flying around and doing the stuff that he does. He's a hell of a lot better player when you see him every day. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. This is last question for you from Crow's Nest Oiler, who said if you get a chance, ask Mr. Lindsay about his time in Junior B with Elk Valley Raiders.
Wow. We're going back to the Elk Valley Raiders. Okay, well, this is my first foray. I had an option to play midget or go to Junior B, and I went to Junior B because there was fighting and everything. That excited me. But this Elk Valley Raiders out of Sparwood, British Columbia, a coal mining town right next to Fernie.
Okay.
Fernie's probably, you know what Fernie is, the ski hill and everything. But all of a sudden we get into that, and we won 3 games, I believe, that season with the Elk Valley Raiders. We had one of our gym coaches at the high school. He was a coach of our team, but it was wild. It was first time 16-year-olds against 20-year-olds or fighting 20-year-olds, and it was just brawl after brawl, and it was a wild experience. But back with those guys in Sparwood, that was kind of my birth, and I had a lot of fun with it. The Elk Valley Raiders, that brings back memories.
There you go. Hey, thanks for this. Appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight.
All right, you too. Enjoy it, and good luck if you guys get there. Like I said the other day, I was talking to Edmonton, and I root for superstars. I really do. Like Connor McDavid, when Ovechkin got the cup, and all those players. I know we've knocked them off a couple of times, but I really do. For the best in our game, I really like to see them get over the hump. So all the best if you get in this year, and try to make that mountaintop.
There you go. Thanks. Appreciate it. It's Bill Lindsay.
You got it.
Yep. Who is former NHL player and played with the Florida Panthers in their early years, including that wild run in '96 spring. Remember that one with the Rats on the Ice and winning all the time, and what a story that was. And of course now does color for the Panthers and has witnessed a couple of wins. And you know what he said about Brad Marchand, you know, that guy, what a career he's had. Always loved watching Brad Marchand. I know some people don't, but I do. I like that style of hockey. You know, I always say that you know, when people say, you know, you can't have those style of players, I think if the player can play, and Marchand can, then they're a big advantage to your team, because not only can they play it straight up and score big goals and make great plays, but they can also be ornery, which is a word. Okay. Is there any update in the March Madness that we need to take care of before the break? Anything unbelievably exciting happening?
Well, I mean, this is an absolute sell job by South Florida defensively. They can't guard anything. They're down 51-35 to Louisville in the 6-11 matchup. Right now, High Point just tied the game against Wisconsin. 19 to go in the second half, which is pretty much just the second half starting. 41-41 between the 12 and the 5 there.
That charging was the South Florida fellow. He was on the freeway.
Oh, yeah. They go fast.
Holy moly. All right. 12:55 on the way. Bagged Milk will join us. We have declinations at one. You know we're going to talk basketball. It's March Madness today, and it is wild in the streets. So we'll have more on that for you as well as the pre-game show. By the way, tonight's pre-game show starts at 6. And, of course, Jason Gregor will cover it for you starting at 2 o'clock as well. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom, 11577 149th Street, now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 to 2, or visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring your next flooring project to life. Edmonton Oilers news: Leon Draisaitl has been placed on LTIR. Roby Yarventi has been recalled in the instance. Trey Savage is set to begin the season on IL. And the Minnesota Vikings have brought back quarterback Carson Wentz. Also, Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons will be out for, quote, an extended period of time with a collapsed lung. NHL schedule, of course, the Edmonton Oilers playing host to the Panthers, 7 p.m. puck drop for that one. Days action, getting going at 5. Jets and Bruins, Islanders and Sens, Canadians and Red Wings, and Rangers and Blue Jackets. Late game tonight will see the Philadelphia Flyers in LA to take on the Kings. In the NBA, action gets going at 5 o'clock as well. Magic and Hornets, Pistons and Wizards. And the Los Angeles Lakers will be in Miami to take on the Heat at 6, while the 76ers are in Sacramento to take on the Kings at 8. March Madness action: Nebraska, the 4 seed, over Troy, the 13, 76-47 earlier. TCU over Ohio State, 66-64 in the 9-8 matchup. And currently, High Point leading Wisconsin 43-41, while Louisville leads South Florida 51-35. I'm Declan Krueger. Up next is Bag Milk. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440 Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
It's the 46th annual Big Brothers and Big Sisters Dream Home and Win 50 Lottery Day on Sports 1440. Today's the deadline to get tickets for the $46,000 final early bird draw. Get more info and tickets at bigbrothersdreamhome.org.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers The Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you?
Who, me? No way. I swear.
Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
For 50 years, the Salvi Group has been building trusted homes and strong communities. This year, we're celebrating that milestone with special events and anniversary promotions you won't want to miss. Discover Hillshire by Salvi Group, beautifully designed homes in a community built for the way you live today. And coming this spring, move-in ready spec homes will be available. Your new home is waiting. Celebrate 50 years of Salvi Group at Hillshire. Visit salvigroup.com or stop by Hillshire today.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
On Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's Truck Month, featuring their best deals of the year. Ask about 0% financing plus extra discounts for Costco members. WolfGMCBuick.com. In the next segment, we're going to give away 4 tickets to the Edmonton Oil Kings game on Sunday against Calgary. And we'll have a little trivia question for you at that time, and we'll let you know how you can win the tickets. Joined now by our friend Bag Milk from Oilers Nation. How are you doing in the Leon is hurt era?
I gotta tell you, that was not the news that I was hoping for. I guess like a lot of Oilers fans, I saw him try and come back and finish off the first period and thought, okay, well, it won't be as serious as, maybe your gut instinct tells you. But then see the news come out a couple of days later that he was out for the regular season. It felt like a gut punch in a way. The Oilers are still battling their way up the Pacific Division standings, and obviously losing your second best player is going to hurt no matter which team it is. But at the same point, I also think it's an opportunity for a lot of other guys to step up and kind of fill the void. And I thought they did a really nice job of that against San Jose. So to answer the question specifically, definitely hurtful. I didn't like to see our best player go down. And honestly, it was a pretty kind of nothing hit, and obviously hit the boards in a fashion that landed poorly for him. But it just is disappointing because they're really starting to turn it on, and Leon was leading the charge.
And it's like Leon, I know that we're all human beings and we're flesh and blood, but Leon kind of had this, I'll play through anything, high ankle sprain, bring it on, and, him being out of the lineup is sort of like shocking.
Yeah, it really is. Because, you nailed it, right? We all remember the Mikey Anderson pulling him down from behind in the playoffs a couple years ago. And then somehow on a high ankle sprain, he goes up and puts up almost 2 points per game against the Flames in the very next round, if not over that. So it's one of those things where if you see this guy out for any length of time, it's got to be serious. And I think from the Oilers' perspective, they probably just said shut it down for the rest of the season as a measure of caution, probably. But yeah, knowing that Leon Draisaitl cannot play is something that we just haven't seen in a long time.
Bagnelk, our guest from Oilers Nation on Sports 1440 and the Lowdown with Lowetide. So there's some, changes in the lineup. Kasperi Kapanen may be out of the lineup. We're not sure. They called up Roby Järventie when they put Leon on LTIR. Podkolzin practicing on the top line with McDavid and Savoy. Do you see that as a reward for how well Podkolzin has played, and maybe a little bit of extra enforcement for the McDavid line? Because it's a reality. The Florida Panthers play hockey a different way, and the Oilers can't afford another injury, certainly to one of their best players.
I think it's probably both. If you just parking the fact that they're playing the Panthers tonight for a moment, you look at how Podkolzin's played since coming back from the Olympic break, and it just his play alone merits him getting a sniff beside McDavid. He has been playing out of his mind lately, and the wheels, his hands, his ability to shoot from just impossible angles and getting them to go right now. He is playing really, really amazing hockey right now. So honestly, even if it wasn't the Panthers, I would have looked at the line combos today and went, you know what? That makes sense. Pod has been playing some fantastic hockey. It'd be interesting to see what he can do beside McDavid, but then you bring him back to the Panthers, and I think you're 100% right. Now, that's a team that's very banged up over there. They've got a lot of pieces missing, so who knows how everybody on the roster is feeling, but when these two teams meet up, it's going to be fireworks, and McDavid obviously can handle himself. I'm not worried about him. Matt Savoy is a smaller guy. So I think just having Podkolzin there, a guy who can hang right now based on how he's playing, I should add. He's not afraid to shed the mitts and dust it up if he needs to. So I think you're probably right about that. I think it's probably both.
So we have a a situation in goal where the last 24 hours, a lot of what I've read online is everybody talking about when should Tristan Jarry play. My own opinion is that these points matter in a big way, and I would just play Connor Ingram. And there's a back-to-back coming, so that's the ideal spot. But even then, I just think that Tristan Jarry needs to work his way back, and before I put him in the net, I need to make sure that he's got a mindset that he wants to join the fray, and otherwise, I think you play Ingram. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a fascinating conversation, isn't it? We've been playing this game with the game calendar up at Nation HQ here a lot over the last handful of days. And I think when you look at the schedule, there are no back-to-backs until I think that's towards the end of the month or early next month. But the schedule affords for the Oilers to run with Ingram if they feel like that's the best option. And clearly he is right now. Honestly, I thought for the sake of not keeping Jarry on the shelf for long term, for weeks at a time, I thought maybe he might have gotten tonight. The Panthers are obviously not the Panthers that have won the Stanley Cup right now. They've been struggling with injuries and just consistency. So I thought he might have got tonight. So when I saw that Ingram was starting, I was a little bit surprised, but it also kind of shows you where the coaching staff's mindset is at with their goaltending right now. They need to win games today, not down the line when everybody's feeling good about themselves. So Connor Ingram gives them a better chance to win, then so be it. Play him. The schedule allows it right now. There's some space. After Saturday's game against Tampa, there's a couple of days off. So I wouldn't be surprised at all now that Ingram got the nod for tonight if he just wraps up this homestand as well.
So it's so interesting to me because the Oilers have, they've made their moves at the deadline, and I do think that the additions have really helped. Ty Emberson is about to come back. Curtis Lazar practicing today. It will be interesting to see when everybody's healthy, who sits and who plays. And for me, I think it's fair to say this Edmonton Oilers team has missed Ty Emberson since he's been out.
I completely agree. When he was one of the three players that went down that night against Colorado, I wrote about it on the website on OilersNation.com that I thought that was going to be a bigger loss than maybe we thought. He was playing at that time, I'm doing this off my head, but around 16 minutes, most of his starts face-off wise were in the defensive zone. So he was playing tougher minutes. I thought he was playing calm, simple hockey. I thought he was laying the body well. I thought he was playing structurally sound. And the biggest compliment I can give for a guy like that is he was quiet. He was mostly unnoticeable, and I say that in the best possible way. So I honestly think that was a big loss for the Oilers to have him back or out of the lineup. Not to say that Spencer Stastny hasn't filled in admirably. I thought that he's played well, and I love that kid's wheels. But yeah, I'm excited to see Ty Emberson back. I'm excited to see just the competition for lineup spots because, as you mentioned earlier, there's some players who, they're not sure things. They're not written in pen. So I'm also looking forward to seeing the competition for those spots down these last 13 games. But when it comes to the new guys, I don't know about you, Al, but I don't know that I could love Connor Murphy any more than I do right now.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad he's in the lineup because Florida are, they are filthy. And the Oilers are going to need some tough folks tonight, and I think a veteran presence is a good thing because there won't be bad penalties taken, hopefully. But the Oilers are playing a team that is truly vicious and doesn't have anything really to lose when they have to get the 2 points. So it really is your basic nightmare if you're the Oilers. This is a team that you want to face because of what happened in the last two Stanley Cup finals. But they may have a different agenda tonight, and the Oilers have to play it straight up because they got to get the 2 points.
Yeah, it's almost one of those nights where there's going to be shenanigans. And that's how Florida plays, and that's how games go when these two teams match up lately. But it's almost one of those nights where I wonder if the Oilers would be better served to kind of turn a blind eye, even when you get the glove in the face or there's some scrums after the whistle. I wonder if this is the night. The power play is obviously very, very good. Not as good without Leon, but it's obviously a spot where if they could draw the Panthers into some penalties tonight, let that power play do its thing, then that would go a long way. I almost wonder if this is one of the nights where, knowing how important these 2 points are, you almost kind of have to park the ill will. I wonder if that's part of the approach that the coaching staff is looking at tonight with.
I think that's the call for sure. And I wonder, You talk about the power play. It always takes a little while. I know when Nuge has missed time, the first couple of games afterwards, the power play, because they're not as certain as they usually are, it's a little different look, and sometimes they have less success. Do you like what they're doing now? Do you like, Podkolzin in there? Do you like the idea of Savoy? Or do you have any other ideas that maybe they haven't used in terms of not just replacing Leon, but kind of giving a fresh look at times?
I think that it's going to be kind of whoever can grab the opportunity. We've seen Pods, we've seen we've seen Savoy, we've seen Roslovic for a minute. I think when you've got big shoes to fill, which Leon Draisaitl obviously leads, I think it's going to be kind of a rotating cast of characters until someone kind of sticks. And what I mean is, like, when Zach Hyman went out, it was Corey Perry who slotted in and filled that role as almost as good as he possibly could, almost Hyman level. So who is that person? Who is going to get those extra minutes or that opportunity on the power play and really stick it? I think Matt Savoy is a good option. I think he's gotten caught a couple of times with dusting the puck off on some quick passes that arrived to him, and that didn't end up in the back of the net. But once he cleans those up, and I'm fully confident that he will, I think he's a really good option there.
All right. Thanks for this. Appreciate it. Enjoy the game.
Thanks, Al.
There you go. Bagmelt from Oilers Nation joins us every Thursday. Jay, is your name reference to Ron Lowe or Kevin Lowe? It's actually a homage to Kevin Lowe, who was a great defenseman, Hall of Fame defenseman here, and had done some interesting things. I called myself Lowetide just as he came here as general manager. Like, he had just started. He coached for a year, and then I stole it from Ron Lowe's nickname is Lowetide, and all I did was put an E in the middle, and it stuck, right? And so, but it was originally homage to Kevin Lowe, and I do remember when they acquired Ron Lowe. Man, they needed a goaltender, and he really did. He led them to the Stanley Cup playoffs that year. He certainly did. And then later on coached them. Kapanen injured again. This guy's made of glass. Last I heard, Duff, it was an illness, but, fog of war. So you never know. Marchand reminds me so much of Esa Tikkanen. There's a lot of the similarities. I agree with that. Tikkanen was like, I think Tikkanen was different in that he made his teammates mad too, right? What do you mean your real name isn't Lowetide? Yeah, it's true. If the Hurricanes get goaltending, it's them. I think it's Minnesota, or it's Tampa, Carolina versus Minnesota in the final with the Hurricanes if they get the goalies. Yeah, Minnesota's strong this year. I think that Colorado has a great record, but they're flagging, as the kids say, a little bit. And Dallas always seems to be one of those teams that is so there until they're not. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I meant for it too. And I would like credit. Thanks. So I think Minnesota's a really good choice. I don't think, we're all biased, okay? I would love the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup. It's not just good for business. I mean, it would be, fantastic to cover that. And it's, but also, like, I feel like I'm from the generation of extremely lucky Oiler fans in the 80s. When, like, every year they either won or, why didn't they win? And so you get to a point where maybe you're a little bit arrogant about it. I certainly was. And then you think it's going to happen every year. But for somebody who, like, let's say somebody became a fan of the Edmonton Oilers in the spring of 91, they would have missed everything. And now it took 14 years to build back to a Stanley Cup final, 15 maybe. And then a bunch more years to get back to another one. And now it's been, the Oilers lost the Stanley Cup in 83, 06, and the last 2 years. That's 4 losses. That's a hell of a lot of heartbreak. And if you talk to an Edmonton Oilers fan about, of a certain age, about Pisani almost scoring in the third period, or Rolison getting hurt in game 1 in 06, or McDavid almost tipping a pass in game 7 in 2024. Those are painful memories, and we, as a group, will remember them forever. I would like Edmonton Oilers fans to have something to celebrate. A guy like Josh there pretends he's not an Oilers fan.
Little tournament update. Siena's leading Duke 22-16. About 10 minutes to go 11 minutes to go in the first half. Duke just had to take a timeout.
Now, which one of you, 2, 3, however many of you have done the brackets, picked Duke to lose today? None of you.
No one on earth picked Duke to lose this game.
Oh my God. That would be
outside of the Siena student body.
Yeah, for sure. And good for them. I bet they're having a blast. All right. On the way, more of your comments about tonight's game. Something on Zach Hyman that we always forget about, and we'll talk about that on the way next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
They traveled about an hour away from Oxford, all for this. They belong. It's a Miami moment. The Redhawks win their first NCAA tournament game since 1999, and they advance.
Eric loves the way the team is playing, and he feels I'm confident we can stay there. It's been a slow build. James! Oh, LeBron James! 41 years old, throwing it down. And what a pass is.
Carlson moves it over. Shot by Gauthier. Rebound. Scored.
It's a rebound that the Ducks finally are able to corral. They have dominated this third period. And they come all the way back once again.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
See Buick, check them out. WolfGMCBuick.com. Loving the country music play you're playing today, Declan. Doing well. Really enjoyed that. All right. We have some tickets to give away. Edmonton Oil Kings on Sunday play Calgary Hitmen. We have 4 tickets to give away to the game. And you can text us with your answer. And one of these fine individuals I work with, we'll choose the winner. And we will get back to you. The number to text the answer is 833-401-1440. That's 833-401-1440. Your question is, the Edmonton Oil Kings won the Memorial Cup in 2014. Who was the goaltender for the Oil Kings that season? Text us now. 833-401-1440. Do we do some kind of scientific thing, or is it just a rando?
Yeah, it'll be a rando. It'll actually probably be a Declan spins a wheel draw. But also, when you text in the answer, text in your name and email address, please.
Okay, you bet. That's a great reminder from a professional broadcaster.
A professional broadcaster.
Ladies and gentlemen, professional broadcaster. And you're going to have declinations talking basketball really quickly when you have the mic on. Anything exciting happening that we need to talk about?
Matt, so Siena is up on Duke right now.
Loving it.
McNeese State is up on Vandy. South Florida's climbing back to make the game versus Louisville, and Wisconsin High Point is already theater. It's honestly probably going to be a lot of Mac and Josh talking NBA, and I'm just going to sit here and watch the games. So yeah, just so everyone's kind of prepared.
Every year it's like this, you know.
It's 24-16 Siena, by the way.
Is Bradley in it this year?
No.
All right.
No.
Irvine?
No UC Irvine.
UMass Lowell?
UMass is definitely not in the tournament.
Okay. And Seton Hall, of course, isn't. What about any Colorado teams?
I'm trying to think of Colorado State, University of Colorado aren't in it. I'm trying to think if there are any smaller school. No, I don't think so. I think the state got blackballed this year.
What did they do?
Listen, Siena, it just took a double-digit lead on Duke, man.
This is so cool. How much time is left?
About 30 minutes total in the game, so plenty of time for Duke to right the ship. But this is crazy.
I'd ask questions of my other coworkers, but you seem to be busy eating and drinking things. There's nothing wrong with that. You've got a long day. Why not?
I'm trying to.
I'm almost at the end of my day here. It's really what it is.
Yeah, I know. You always try to drive over me in the parking lot when I
well, you always try to let me drive over you in the parking lot. You got to stop jumping in front of.
I go to the bathroom and then I come out and you're with
Listen,
your car.
Do I put my car in neutral sometimes and rev my engine while you walk in front of it? Absolutely.
Ouch, man. You know, I get. But can you imagine the thrill of that? And then you'd have to say,
"I hitting you with my car." No, that
it was
would not
an
exactly be very thrilling.
No,
I'd be like, "I can't believe I actually did it. How am I going to get away with this?"
That's right.
And I'd dump your body in.
What would happen is somebody, one of our coworkers would walk out and they'd say, "Well, he was old," and that'd be the end of it. You know.
Yeah, it's like a horse with a broken leg.
Sure, you know. I mean, something was gonna happen, you know, sooner or later.
Just didn't know it would be his own coworker.
You know, why don't we
to get a promotion for his other coworker?
Why don't you quickly drive off and ditch the car? You know.
How would I wait? So I drive off, then I ditch the car, and then I just hoof it. What if I took the keys off your body and then took your car?
Convo was getting a little weird, guys.
I was thinking, I mean, pretty wild. People are texting, and we appreciate that. I don't know if we have a winner or not yet, but we'll be in touch.
We will probably get back to the winner at the end of this segment.
Okay. All right. Losing 4 finals in my lifetime sucks, Lowetide. Win or lose, and I've seen 5 ships too. I think he means championships, but kids today, they
Plus
just
the
can't,
gold medal.
They can't use
Unless
the
you're
real
counting that.
words. But I'm glad to have lived through those cup runs with friends and family, and we should be fortunate. We have seen the Oil play such meaningful hockey. I agree. I that 06 team for me has a very special place in my memory. You know, my kids were young. My daughter was so like into it. She would bring her easy bake oven down, and she'd make food with her dad, and we would watch the hockey game. And she's a hockey fan, and those memories for me are just some of the best I own. So part of them losing was a very difficult. And it does frustrate me that people always say things, well, it was a one-off. That was a really great team. And they finished 8th because they didn't have a goalie until they got Rolison. But that was that team on merit could have won the Stanley Cup in 06. And I will fight you in the parking lot, at the bike racks on that one, because I know I'm right. I don't think most Oilers fans realize how incredible it is to watch Bush and McDavid right now. I have a story. I'm going to tell you a story. Hey, everybody, an old man is talking. So many years ago, the radio station I worked for was contacted by Disneyland, and they said, we would like one of your broadcasters to do a show Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of whatever week, live from Main Street, USA. And it turned out that was me. And so Disneyland is top drawer. They do everything beyond top drawer. So when I went down there, they had worked out deals with various companies in California, around the Los Angeles area. So they would take a bunch of media people on these tours, where I got to see Richard Nixon's presidential, house and estate. I got to see the QE2. We got to take a boat ride through Malibu, and we saw Cher's house, and we waved, but she didn't wave back. We also got to see the Spruce Goose, which was the Howard Hughes plane that he built during World War II. It didn't ever, it wasn't used, but he built this massive, incredible plane. It was like one of the great things that people talked about during the war, because it, was impossible, and yet he did it. And Howard Hughes was a very eccentric guy. So at that time, they had the Spruce Goose in a massive hangar somewhere in Southern California, and we got to go in and tour it. And so you go into this building, and the building is just a mammoth. And then you see a video, and then it's in a hangar, and the doors are closed. And I'm getting it. There's a point to be made, I promise. So the lady who's doing the tour and the talk to us, and there's like 50 people in the room, she says, okay, we do these tours every day, and we have to tell you that the Spruce Goose, when you first see it, it is such a massive plane, and we've explained to you why it was such a miracle of engineering. But 15 minutes after you see it, you're going to say, "Oh, there's a plane," because you witness it, and then you go, "Oh, okay, I'm now used to that. I understand what it is. I get it. It's not as big a deal as I thought it was." By the way, Grand Canyon, same thing. So anyway, exactly that happened. They opened these massive hangar doors, and you are just astounded that anybody in any era could build this plane out of the materials that Howard Hughes used to build the Spruce Goose. If you don't know about it, read about it. It's an amazing story. It truly, truly is. And it did fly. And Howard Hughes had some things going on, but he was a brilliant guy. And then after about 15 minutes, it was like, oh, it's a plane. And so that's what happens with Connor McDavid. If you have seen Connor McDavid and you are no longer blown away by his tremendous ability, or Evan Bouchard, or Leon Draisaitl, then you've Spruce Goosed the greatest show on earth. That's my opinion. And I told you not to. I've been saying this for decades. Well, at least a decade, on my show and on my blog and at The Athletic. Appreciate him, because they don't come along every day. I'll tell you honestly, I didn't know what the Oilers were in the 80s. I witnessed it. I went to see the games. I used to watch Paul Coffey from like way up in the bleeders because I didn't make a lot of money. I was in radio and I was young. But I'd buy seats way the hell and up and gone, and I'd watch Paul Coffey skate, and it was a thing of beauty. It was awesome. And that's Connor McDavid, and that's Leon Draisaitl, and that's Evan Bouchard. So if you go to a game, I know the tickets are expensive, but if you can get to go to a game, just watch it and enjoy it, because somebody behind you will say, yeah, well, he did that last week and it didn't work either. To hell with all of that noise. You are watching one of the greatest athletes of all time, and he plays in our town. And there are many major cities in North America and all over the world that can not offer that kind of entertainment. He is absolutely money. And I still can't believe what he does. How can you skate that fast and have your stick handle the puck and keep it all coordinated? And guys are trying to hack and whack you and knock you over, and he still gets it done. It's phenomenal.
Oh, sorry. I have like that same sentiment every time I go to a game live. As I'm like walking into the building, I'm always like, how lucky are we?
Yeah,
Every
right?
single time I walk into Rogers, I'm like, I'm getting to see two of the best players in the entire world. 3 if you put Bush in there. But last year I went to, it was a Edmonton versus Detroit, and they were playing the Leafs on Saturday. So the row behind us was definitely some guys from Toronto that definitely didn't watch McDavid very often.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this game so vividly because they lost in overtime, and obviously I was there, but McDavid was not himself that night. He, to McDavid standards, was not good.
Right.
And the guys behind us the entire night were talking about, they're just like, I can't believe how good he is. And I was like, this is crazy because this is an off night for him. Like, he is not having a Connor McDavid night. And also they kept on talking smack about my guy, Jeff Skinner. And I wanted to turn around and be like, actually, he's the only one making a difference here. But I restrained myself.
It's funny how it's funny how hockey impacts years and years ago. I took my son to a game. He was very young, and his favorite player was Tom Pody. And Pody was having a bad run. He really was. He was struggling, and he got booed a lot. And they're Pody. And so we get to the car, and he's like 6 or 7 years old. He's barely old enough to go to the game. And he's like, I don't think I'm an Oilers fan anymore, Dad. I don't like the way they treated Tom Pody. And to this day, he remembers that. You know, it's funny how the impact of going to a game and watching a game and what you take from it becomes part of, you know, what your memories are. You know, Lowetide, if you want to explain the spruce goose to the jack-o'-lanterns, tell them to watch The Simpsons, where Mr. Burns is walking around with Kleenex boxes on his feet. Cheers, Eddie Cheddar. Tom Pody was traded away 24 years ago today, according to Rick. That's wild. I remember that trade.
That's a fun story.
Yeah, right?
Talking about Mr. Burns and Kleenex boxes.
That's nice.
The only Mr. Burns episode that I truly like care about, aside from Who Shot Mr. Burns, because he's clearly pivotal in both those episodes, is 12 and a half Greyhounds or something like that, where he has he sings "See My Vest" instead of "Be My Guest."
Do you not like the baseball episode?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of baseball episodes.
The one about, you know, the Mattingly. I told you to shave those sideburns. You're off the team.
Maybe I don't remember that one. What I do remember is Homer making it all the way to the big leagues as a seventh inning stretch entertainer.
Yeah, that was a good one too. That's a great show. In the heyday, fabulous show. All right, we're into Declinations time. So we're going to take a break. On the way, Declinations going to get your fill of college basketball, I'm sure. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Hey Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text VALUE to 780-777-7777 to start. That's VALUE to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Some deals are too good to be real. Not at Tim's. For just $8.99, get a hearty loaded wrap with wedges and a Coke. A real meal. And for $8.99, a real deal. Try it at Tim's. Plus tax. At participating restaurants in Canada for limited time. Terms apply.
Step up to the plate with confidence this season with St. Albert's Source for Sports, your trusted experts in baseball. From the diamond to the dugout, get the latest from top brands like Mizuno, Victus, Marucci, Rawlings, and Easton. Suit up with new cleats, helmets, pants, and don't forget the gloves, because champions know that every catch counts and every play matters. At St. Albert's Source for Sports, they know the game and they have the gear to prove it. St. Albert's Source for Sports, your source for baseball gear over 35 years.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Oh, it's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick 139. And it's time for Declinations, brought to you by Fairway Divorce Solutions. Divorce can be difficult. We can help make the road to a new life easier. Fairwaydivorce.com. Declan.
Yeah, I mean, we're watching some all-time stuff this tournament.
Amazing.
Wisconsin and High Point in a battle, 4-point game for Wisconsin, about a minute left. Siena, they're leading Duke by 9 points. Like I just mentioned, that one a little over midway through the first half, I believe, and then Louisville, South Florida coming down to the wire. Look at this. Like, we are watching all-time stuff here. What a three. That Cam Johnson, by the way, that guy who just hit that three, he's taken 4 2-point shots all year. He's taken like 300 3-pointers. Incredible stuff.
That's
Louisville,
amazing.
South Florida. That's a 6-point game with about 2 minutes left. South Florida just got the ball back. It's like we're watching all-time stuff here. Josh, go ahead and talk about the NBA.
Okay, hold on. I'm just going to move over really quick.
Take your time.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So the NBA, there are a couple things to touch on. Yesterday, the Thunder were playing the Brooklyn. We're playing. Yeah, right there. No, right there. There we go. Hi, YouTube. How's it going? yesterday, Thunder and Brooklyn Nets were playing. And so obviously there's been a big conversation about tanking this year and, what's ethical tanking and what's non-ethical tanking. The Nets are doing it right. Last night at halftime, they were down 60-24 against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have the reigning MVP and most likely who's going to be the MVP this year in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, to the point where Vince Carter was on the call and they weren't even talking about basketball. So it was very reminiscent of what the lowdown with Lowetide is like. At some point, they just go off topic.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, sir.
All right, there's nothing wrong with it at all. I'm here for it. So that's really funny, and I just thought I'd bring that up, especially because there has been so much talk about tanking. I think the Nets get left off to the side and they're in their own camp. The Nets are terrible. The Nets are god awful. I mean, I think who's still leading them in assists is Michael Porter Jr., who is not a guy who passes the ball. It's literally not what his job was. He came in as this guy he just comes in, he gives you 17, 18 points a night and calls it a day.
Is you called it ethical what?
Ethical tanking?
Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like it like I don't like ethical non-monogamy. I think they're both silly.
You don't think ethical tanking and non-ethical tanking are?
I think you should try to win. The Oilers,
I agree, you should try to win. I think the Nets try their darndest and they just can't do it.
The Oilers, the year they won the McDavid lottery, they tried. They tried to win. They just were no damn good.
Same reason the Flames are going to win the McKenna lottery this year.
Well, there is something to be said for the players out there on the court. They're always going to be trying, right?
Yes.
They're playing for paychecks there, but the organization and the front office and management, they kind of take a broader view to things, right? Like you can never get players to go out there and try and lose. That'll never happen. But there is something to be said for management. And Lowetide, you've talked about this with Calgary. Like management needs to have the realization that we need something to reset this team.
It's the view from 10,000 feet above. Yeah, that's a little different in basketball though, because what are you supposed to do? So that the Nets are they're poorly constructed. They have Michael Porter Jr. and that's about it. They have a bunch of the Knicks picks.
Why can't they just do what San Antonio does?
This is the same thing that you're talking about with why can't everyone just do what the Packers do?
Right.
And to be fair, San Antonio missed the playoffs for a decade.
Yeah.
It's been since 2017. They had 10 years of bull crap.
But look what they are.
Oh, no. They were in the playoffs in 2019.
Was it? So maybe it's been since 2019 then.
Yeah, that sounds about because I think they made it the year after that too.
I don't know.
With Rosen, and then they've missed.
Are we
it
getting
since
off
then.
topic?
So it's
This is on topic. This is NBA basketball.
It's 7 years of missed playoffs, and you lucked into someone who has GOAT potential.
Oh yeah, and not only have you done it, have the Spurs done it once? They've done it twice. Actually, they've done it 3 times with David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and Victor Wembanyama.
What an organization, but holy goodness, are they lucky?
Oh yeah, but then they also have guys like Steph Castle and Dylan Harper,
kind of GOAT.
Yeah, a little bit. Devin Vassell, that's a great pick. Love me some Devin Vassell. I'm glad that you brought up the San Antonio Spurs.
Well, thank you,
because
they're not my team, but I just respect them so much.
As you should,
right?
Because since February 1st, they have 2 losses.
Amazing.
That's it. I believe they're now 20-2 since then. Maybe 19-2. I don't have it written down in front of me. I actually have nothing in front of me. Fun fact.
Yeah.
But
except your phone.
Except my phone, which I could go on, but then
and a very nice lumberjack shirt. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Spurs. Where was I just at with the Spurs? Oh yeah, that's right. Since February 1st, they're 19 or 20-2. They only have 2 losses. They've hit 50 wins for the first time since 2016, 2017, when the entire team was totally different. Pop was still the head coach. They had Kawhi Leonard on the roster, Danny Green, all those. Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili were still playing meaningful minutes for them. So that's incredible. And I think they're going to make it to 60 this year. Declan and I have gone back and forth. We talked about it. I think they're going to get to 60 this year. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
And just as kind of a dovetail off of that, the world will try and tell you that the MVP race is between Jokic and SGA,
or Luka and SGA.
The real MVP race is between Wemby and Luka.
Wemby has so many fans.
Because I actually tweeted this, but here's what is important about Wemby is that he is a guy that actively tries, and you can tell every time he's on the court, he cares about the outcome. He cares if he gets the block. He cares if his team gets the rebound. He cares if his team scores, not just him, but if anybody scores. Same reason that like at the All-Star game, he said, yeah, I'm trying. Like I want to win. Like that's all that enters my psyche is I want to be a guy that wins. I can't believe what I just saw.
Oh my God.
High
This
point
is
with
why,
a breakaway layup
why
to
are you
put
trying
themselves up 83-82, 10 seconds left.
Why are we talking
over Wisconsin?
This is
I'm just so glad I looked over there. Was that Johnson? Was that his fifth two-point attempt of the year?
Was there no foul at the other end? It felt like there was a lot of activity.
No, he went straight up. It looked like it was good defense. This is like the games we have on right now. This Duke Siena game, this High Point Wisconsin game, the South Florida Louisville game, and this McNeese State Vandy game. Like my goodness, are we being
This is
spoiled
why
right now?
it's such a great tournament, and this is like the first 2 hours.
That was Chase Johnson too.
Oh man, look at this.
He was 0 for 4 on 2-point field goals coming in.
1 for 5 this year now.
I don't know if he took another one today, but yeah, like look at this. He
1
almost
for
didn't
5.
know how to make a layup.
Oh my God. And I remember when I was in junior high and high school, all the basketball coaches would say, don't do that. Because he went up to the rim and he just sort of finger rolled it in.
That's what Dr. J used to do.
Yeah, but they would
yeah, it's a bad thing for kids to learn.
How bad?
Because kids aren't very good at finger
Kids
rolling.
aren't good at finger rolls, and not everyone's Dr. J. He had a
Damn
special.
right they're
Yeah,
not.
exactly.
Yeah.
Dude,
So-
I remember I would just really quickly, I would finger roll layups and layup line at games. And one time our coach like called us from the layup line and was like, use the backboard. Like we stopped our warm up and he told us to all use the backboard.
Rightfully so.
And pass the ball to everybody.
Yeah. So when I was in grade 9, I remember this ABJ guy, Brendan Lord, biggest guy on the court. He was like 3 inches taller than everybody. And he had crazy hops because he was a volleyball guy. And so he's just up there touching like the top of the backboard and stuff and finger rolling layups in the layup line. And I remember the coach looked at everyone and said, hey, man, he's not going to make a single layup tonight. Wow. High Point, they're going to win. I can't believe this.
Oh, my God. Huge.
Woo!
That's 12-5, right? 12
Yeah.
versus 5. So that's
Chase Johnson. I know a bracket buster when I see one.
There you go. So did you have that?
I did. I think I
Nice.
had High Point in every single one of my
16
of my 3 brackets.
Chase Johnson, you will never have to pay for a book at the High Point Library again.
No, sir.
By the way,
You have
Duke's
to pay
down
for
11
books
at
at the library?
halftime.
That
Duke is
is-
down 11 at halftime.
That's so bad.
Libraries have changed.
Well, just it's a school library.
So may I ask a question?
So yeah. Anyways, the Spurs.
No.
Oh, okay.
But when we were talking about this segment, I said we'll be talking about college basketball. Then I found out you are going to try to talk about the NBA.
Yeah.
But why? God love you.
Yeah.
I know that you love, and you're very knowledgeable about
this is
the
a
NBA.
This is a very fair topic. It was Declan who said Josh is going to talk about the NBA, and I was like, all right,
But
yeah.
because he wants to watch the
'Cause
college
he
basketball.
He wants to watch college basketball. And hey, to be fair, through the first half of what I was talking about, I did not look at college basketball. I just happened to look at the right point in time with Chase Johnson getting
That's
an
gotta-
absolutely disgusting finger roll.
That's got to hurt Wisconsin. Oh, how many seniors are on that team?
I have no idea.
Oh,
All I know is that on Hoop City with Paul Sir, every Saturday, 10 to 12.
Great show, great guy.
Great show,
Tallest
great
building
guy.
in the town.
Oh yeah. We had Kevin Lehman on, who does a bunch of color commentary, or maybe it's play-by-play for the Big Ten, and was a college coach and all of these other things. So very knowledgeable in what's going on in the world of college basketball. And he said, watch out for, like, don't be too high on Wisconsin, because they live by the 3, they die by the 3.
Right.
And if they're not making them, they are going to lose, because they've beaten teams that they should beat. And that's because they've been on. And then they've lost to teams that they also should have beat, because
they're
they
not
could
hot.
not make a 3 ball to save their life. So I went balls to the wall and just went, hey, you know what? Wisconsin ain't winning this one. Little first day of March Madness jitters. I think they're going to have some problems making some 3 balls, but
They're about to have a shot, man.
they're about to have a shot with 1.8 seconds left.
Cameron
so I
Fletcher
could
missed
eat,
the front end of the 1-and-1. You should have passed it too off that trap.
I could eat my words in 2 seconds here.
Yeah, but that's college basketball.
But that's college basketball in March. That's just the way it is. One of the most magical times of the year. That being said, I do still like Masters Weekend more.
Masters Weekend is great.
I love
always
Masters Weekend.
I always barbecue. Always barbecue steaks.
Hey, last year, parents were away for the weekend. It was just me sitting on the couch drinking Michelob's, watching Rory McIlroy win
That
his
was a
first
great-
Master.
that was great.
It's more magical than anything I could have written. It was awesome.
I would have done anything to have Duke schedule today, by the way. He gets to get out.
Oh,
of
yeah.
here and
What's
go,
the score in
my
that
goodness.
game?
Which game?
They're
Duke.
down 11
Oh,
at
I
halftime.
meant Brandon Douglas.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
Yeah.
That
The
unbelievable.
real Duke.
Yeah. I forget. I don't know which game he was watching out there, but obviously he was in here getting ready to say bye. And then I went out there to talk to him really quick, and he's still just staring at the TV. This is all right. Here we go.
This is about to be theater one way or the other. Either Wisconsin wins on like a full court heave or high.
This is a half court heave and a half. Oh my god.
Oh,
dude, this is how.
Yes!
Oh!
High Point.
High Point wins. Let's go.
Sorry if you're listening to this with headphones.
I feel as though that
that plays how Duke won the Natty in 1993.
Can I just ask a simple question that maybe there's no answer and maybe it's a dumb question? There was 1.2 seconds left.
1.8.
1.8. So wouldn't it be better to like throw it to a spot and have the guy turn and throw, because that's all the time you have?
Well, so again, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
There's enough time on the clock to do that, but I think that's what their plan was. Because again, like I said, that's how Duke won the national championship in 1993. They heaved it full court to Christian Laettner, the original Duke bully, and he hit a turnaround jumper with like 1 second left to win the national championship. Awesome. I think it's my dad's favorite sports highlight of all time.
It was great.
But yeah, like you gotta do what you gotta do.
All right. So that was great.
Learned lots.
What? We're coming out at 152?
It's 154 over.
Oh, the clock's wrong.
That clock's about a minute and a half behind.
It gets slower like every day.
So wait a minute. That clock is me.
It's actually going to get to a point where we're gonna have to have someone come in and fix it.
It's the Lowetide clock.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like it. All right. Hey, Jason Krueger on the way. 6 o'clock pregame. Oilers play tonight. March Madness will be discussed. Please enjoy your day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly. 780-265-0165. That's 780-265-0165. Edmonton Oilers news, of course, as Leon Draisaitl has been placed on LTIR. Roby Arventi has been called up in the instance. For the Blue Jays, Trey Savage is set to begin the season on IL. And in the NBA world, Cade Cunningham is out for, quote, an extended period of time with a collapsed lung. Edmonton Oilers, of course, playing host to the Florida Panthers, 7 p.m. puck drop for that one down at Rogers. The day's action will get going at 5 o'clock with 4 games: Jets and Bruins, Islanders and Sens, Canadians and Red Wings, and Rangers and Blue Jackets. Late game, we'll see the Flyers and the LA Kings. In the NBA, 2 games tipping off the action at 5 o'clock: Orlando and Charlotte, and Detroit, Washington. Miami also playing host to the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Philadelphia 76ers will be in Sacramento for the late game. NCAA March Madness action. It was Nebraska over Troy, 76-47. High Point just beating Wisconsin, 83-82. Louisville over South Florida, 83-79. And TCU over Ohio State, 66-64. Currently, we have 2 games in action. Siena, they lead the number 1 overall seed Duke, 43-32 at halftime. And McNeese and Vanderbilt currently tied with about 3 to go in the first. In about 10 minutes' time, we will see North Dakota State and Michigan State tipping off. In about 30 minutes' time, we will see Hawaii and Arkansas tip off. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall.